Chapter 9 is incredible. I'm very excited about it, and I know that it seems that I say that all the time, but there's a different reason for the excitement in the persistence chapter. You want to make sure that you're reading sections, let me cheat my notes here, 24, 25, and 26. There is also a workbook portion, so do the workbook portion along with the reading, and again, read it 3 times. Here's why I'm thrilled when students of this Think and Grow Rich material, I certainly don't think of you as a student of mine, I think of you as a student of your own life. But the reason that I love this chapter for people is a lot of the things that you've been asked to do, writing a definite major purpose, reading it out loud with enthusiasm, a specific plan with the oats drill and all that, it's all going to come together for you in this chapter. That's the incredible part. It's nice when there's a payoff part way through and you start to see the reasoning. Now, I said that the whole, right, is greater than the sum of the parts. And what's also important about that is the order. Order is very important in this philosophy. It's in order for a reason, and you're about to discover why. You know, if you want to make bread and you let it rise before you put the yeast in, it's not going to work. Things are in order for a reason, and if you do them in the right order, make bread in the right order, you get bread every time. If you don't, you don't. So this is the payoff. This is a huge payoff. It should be a huge encouragement for you. Now, there's really only 2 types of reps or people that are in this course and class at this point in time. The ones that have been reading the material and not doing the work, and what's cool for you is this will inspire you to go back and actually do those things. We're talking about reading your definite major purpose with unbridled enthusiasm, that type of stuff. And then there's the people that have been doing it. It's like, oh my gosh, the big surprise, the big payoff, the big wow, this does make sense. So here's the thing. Start over and actually do the work if you got here and haven't done it, because if you've been doing it, the secret that Hill says is basically on every page in every chapter. Bang. If you haven't got it by now, you'll definitely get it in this chapter. So here's the thing about persistence. Okay, persistence is not a quality. And that's something that a lot of us think. But before we get into that, I want to talk about what a lot of people in network marketing, and quite candidly in life in general, perceive persistence to be. Not quitting has nothing to do with persistence. Persistence is one of the crucial elements in attaining your definiteness of purpose. Persistence will get anybody there. We hear that over and over. You see all kinds of speeches on persistence. Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, and all that stuff. But what they don't teach you is what you're about to discover in these 3 little sections. What they don't teach you is what persistence is. All the self-help gurus, and I like them, it's not a criticism, I'm saying that they leave out a huge piece that a guy like me or an average person really needs to know. It is not a quality, it is a habit, okay? It's a habit. So while not quitting, some people think that's a pretty good thing. You know, they're on auto shift, they're tapping into conference calls, they're going to meetings, maybe they're going to the national convention, but they're not really building their business. And they think by not quitting that they have persistence, that they're bulldogs. That has nothing to do with persistence. It has everything to do with not quitting. And once you really grasp the Think and Grow Rich philosophy, you'll understand to talk about not quitting is the same thing as talking about quitting. And if you've quit doing the things that need to be done to build your business, staying in the business and not quitting, in essence, is the same thing as quitting. I know that that might not make a whole lot of sense when you first hear it. It didn't to me, but boy does it make sense to me now. Not quitting has nothing to do with persistence. Persistence is a habit. It's not a quality. That's a critical element. Now, the thing about habits that's really important is habits are our destiny. Okay, we are what's really nice about network marketing is you don't have to be a great speller. We are, all of us, the byproduct or end product of our daily habits. What we do and don't do, overeat, eat just right, exercise, whatever we do, walk the dog every night or promise to walk the dog every night, there's a big difference between the two. Our life is a reflection of our habits, and our habits will make or break us. So how do you develop this bigger habit of persistence? Well, here comes the payoff. Persistence, and by the way, just so you'll know, it takes about 30 days to develop a habit. So we're into chapter 9. We've been gobbling up a couple of chapters a week. So you're really at a point now where 30 days you've been doing these 4 little habits, because persistence is really the byproduct of 4 tiny habits that anybody can do. This is going to determine our destiny. This is who we are. Isn't it nice that this is really the key to the vault of success? But you've got to break it down into these 4 tiny habits. So the number 1 tiny habit is a definite major purpose. This, in essence, is what Hill discovered in the 25-year study, the 504 pilot group, and the thousands of people that they studied over the years. The one thing that they found that they all had in common was persistence. And again, it's not that hang in there, don't quit. That's just whatever it is. You know, that's nothing. It doesn't get anything done. Okay, a definiteness of purpose backed by a burning desire. Okay, so the first thing that we had you do was write out a definiteness of purpose, and then I went on my usual long, drawn out speech about reading the thing out loud with enthusiasm, because that's the charge that puts it in there. So if you've been doing that, check that one off the list. The second thing is a definite plan of action, right? Expressed, a definite plan, sorry, I like to say it this way, expressed in continuous action. Okay, and here's what's important about that is this is the oats part. You know that little thing that you see in Networking 101, and I talked to you about it in the organized planning thing. So you should start to see this is coming together and start to see, great, I got my definite major purpose. I'm reading it out loud. I'm following a suggestion to make the last hour of the day the most important when I concentrate on my goals. So my subconscious is thinking about them 24/7. And what's really critical about that is that's what builds the burning desire. You have a definite major purpose, and you have a plan, okay, that's specific for your business. That's really important, okay? Now the third thing that you need, okay, and by the way, let me digress here on these for a minute. These 2 things right here, we will help you with those. Call us up, email us. That's part of what you paid for when you get in here, is to help you develop a particular vocabulary inside your definite major purpose so that it would leverage the beliefs that are already in your subconscious mind and build the burning desire faster. And of course, you know, we have conference calls on this about setting up a plan and what you should be doing, and we went over that in the organized planning part. The third thing, of course, is a closed mind, okay, to all negative thought. Now, why is that important? Well, what do we do for you there? What do we suggest that you do for yourself? Was the mental diet. Remember, we talked about starting and then restarting and then restarting every time you had a negative thought. So these things take about 30 days to develop, and of course then the fourth thing is, which we've already talked about, is a mastermind alliance. As it turns out, all the wealth by all these people was actually generated through persistence. But if you look at persistence as a byproduct of these 4 tiny little habits, think about what you've already done. Here's your payoff. You've already started to build the habit of persistence, and once you have persistence, you can't fail. Why not? Well, because you have a definiteness of purpose and a burning desire around it, the number 1 element in success in all ventures. You have a specific plan that was designed with you around by professional networkers. We've been doing this for 20 years. We know what you need to do on a weekly basis. I mean, you need to recruit 80% of your time. This is an exercise in immersing yourself in this material and realizing and being an observer like we talked about in the mental diet. Did you get negative? Start the diet again. You get 14 days under your belt, your life is never the change. And we couldn't have implored you more strongly to develop a mastermind alliance. You could do it with some of the people that are in this group, some people that are in your network marketing group, or a good friend that wants to help you push yourself further. So that's the big payoff, is that you've developed the habits, you're developing the habits that create the larger and the very wealth building habit of persistence. So we want to go R2, A2, like we always do, which is recognize, relate, assimilate, apply. How does this apply to recruiting? Well, before we talk about recruiting, I want to talk about coaching, because some of you have groups and there's been some questions about that. How do you use this information about persistence? Where's the R2, A2? What can I recognize, relate to the problems or challenges I have now, assimilate, and apply? Well, it's really simple. What you want to do is don't talk to people about what they have to do. They'll resent that. Talk to them about their definiteness of purpose. Have conversations with them about what they authentically value. Let me grab another marker here. Have conversations with them about what they authentically value. And then ask, okay, and you'll find this in the coaching section. If it's not up there now, it'll be up there. It's going to be up there by the 14th or 15th or the 24th of August, I think. But in the coaching session, you're going to discover, I just want to give this to you a little bit early. What I do with a rep is I find out what their DMP is, and I commit to their DMP on a daily basis. I read it every day. Don't email people about their DMP. What you want to do with their DMP is put stuff in the mail to them once a week and talk to them about their definiteness of purpose every day. Let's just say it's Jack and Jill's education. They really want to get Jack and Jill's education paid for. So you talk to them about that all the time, and then you ask, what should we do today? Now here's where the great inversion and where persistence begins to be developed in the distributors, because all you got to do is develop persistence in your distributors and you're on your way to a multiple six-figure income. That's all I've ever done. I don't tell them, we got to do this, we got to do this, you got to go to the event, you got to go to the meeting, you have to do this kind of stuff, okay? It's the gap between what they really want and where they currently are in their life. So when you can get them to identify what it is they want, that's what you focus on with your distributors. And then you ask them, what do you think we need to do today, and what should we schedule for tomorrow to get you what you want? Now what's happening is they are coming up with the task, not you. They come up with the task. You're linking completing the task to their definite major purpose. What about a prospect? Well, you know, because I think in the Think and Grow Rich material, all the secrets of recruiting are actually in there. What you want to do is use the upfront contracts. And remember in the little fire lighters that we use to create the flame of hope in them, to create that gap between where they are and what they currently want. So when I'm talking to a prospect, I'm going to use upfront contracts to get that as a raging inferno. And then I'm going to ask them a simple question. Do you want to do something about it? See, I don't ask them to join my network marketing company. I don't ask them to take these pills, potions, and lotions and tell them how great everything's going to be. I want to find out what their definiteness of purpose is, what they authentically value. Folks, the cars, the jewelry, and the big paychecks, nobody really cares about those things. Are they great to have? Yes. Would I love to have all I can get? You bet. But it's not what I really value or treasure. So in the prospecting mode, find out what they really value or treasure, what you're really asking in that conversation. The reason that we've had the success we've had is when I'm having that conversation, what I'm really looking for is they don't even know what it is. Let me put that another way. they don't really understand how to define their definiteness of purpose. And all you got to do is pull their definiteness of purpose out of them in the conversation with the prospect. If you make the conversation about that instead of the plan, the product, or the company, you're going to find out their definite major purpose, even though they haven't written it out like you have, even though they haven't even thought about the words definite major purpose. When you have that, then what you want to do is say, around your, it sounds to me like you really treasure yada, yada, yada. Tell them what they told you. When they do, you say, John, is there any chance of you getting that in your current circumstances? They're going to say, probably not. Well, would you like to do something about it? When they say yes, now you've upgraded them to legitimate prospect and you have a reason for them. So persistence is the great discovery chapter, because all those crazy things that seem so unusual, reading your goals out loud with enthusiasm and writing out your plan every week, this is the payoff. You've already started to develop, congratulations, the 4 tiny habits that'll lead to persistence. So again, it's sections 24 through 26, and don't forget to do the workbook portion of it too, and you'll see those 4 things spelled out. And we'll see you in the next clip.